the music. Time to dance.
Hello and welcome to the latest issue of DropPod. I am your host with the most. Abe is dead. He's no more. It is me, Austin Pfhorbear Ford. And this week, or this time, because you never know when Halo news is dropping these days, this time we have the one and only, the You Had Me at Halo usual, the Mr. Halo subreddit himself, Captain, where is my Halo Infinite multiplayer review? SoulBlazerz. How is it going, my man?
Hey man, it is going pretty well. I'm actually excited to be here. More Halo content for the channel, always a good thing. I want to apologize in advance if my voice sounds a little off or if I go into a coughing fit. I am still a little sick, but yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, so guys, today what we're going to be tackling is obviously the newest blurb of news. You know, last week we got a cool little map preview, which was a nice little fly through of the two new maps coming to Halo Infinite in Season 2. This week we got the motherload of content, what really makes both Soul and I feel like they're kind of downplaying what might be coming in Season 2, but we'll definitely get to that. This is an overview of the modes that are coming with Halo Infinite's multiplayer in Season 2. A ton of great stuff. A fan favorite returns with King of the Hill, which has been updated in an interesting way, and you know we'll touch on that. Some new party modes that people have been asking for, some casual stuff. Soul, was there anything else in here that like really stood out to you? There's definitely a big one, but anything that stood out?
I mean, even discounting the Last Spartan Standing, this mode that they're really kind of downplaying for sure. We'll talk about that. Just the action stack, the pseudo action stack game modes. I'm really excited to talk about that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I think we've all been asking for energy swords and grapple shots and you know, just absolute insanity. It sounds like we're going to be getting that stuff, but you know, well, we might as well just jump right on that real quick. That's kind of the lightest part of all of the new stuff that we got is the addition of these like weird social modes that you know the community's been asking for. I know I specifically have been asking for it on You Had Me at Halo anytime I show up on there, but you know, just more casual, more social, like team snipers, team doubles. And then the three new completely original modes. So I mean, you know, the Vampire's Ball is definitely the weirdest one of the three. It's this like oddball party mode, and then Ninja Slayer and Rocket Repulsors.
Yeah, I did not expect this at all, by the way, in Season 2. I knew we would eventually get Action Stack, but I assumed it'd come with Forge, to be honest.
100%. I think that's like a perfect time for it to arrive. Yeah. But, you know, to set the expectation that, yeah, like we are gonna give you the silly modes. We're sorry we launched with ranked, quick play, and then BTB, so like here's a whole slew of new stuff and familiar things, like I said, the team snipers and doubles and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, and then so even Rumble Pit with like an 8-player FFA, like they're really bringing a bunch of different stuff. There's a good amount of content that's going to be here day one.
But they are still saving things.
Yeah, like the playlists that they talked about, the Social Skirmish, Social Slayer, Team Snipers, Team Doubles, those are all going to be rotational playlists, which just like the MCC, it's super nice to see, you know, some variety every week when you sign in.
And it makes sense. And I mean, 343 have also made it clear that, hey, if a playlist gets really popular, if they find that a lot of people play it, they'll eventually bring it into the game as like a permanent playlist.
100%. I think it's definitely worth taking a look at the interesting things that they're doing to King of the Hill. Instead of like, we've all played King of the Hill, right? Like, if you're listening to this, you play King of the Hill. You know, it was always super frustrating for me as a player, and one of the reasons why I would avoid, like, objective playlists that were super varied is, like, King of the Hill is frustrating to have, like, a super close match. You go and jump into the hill, you're tied, like, 198 to 198, you jump in the hill, you get a point, and then the hill moves.
Yes.
It's like, oh my god, kill me.
I still play a lot of CE these days, or I used to in the past, and basically at a certain point I'd be like, yeah, there's no point going there. It's moving. Goes anywhere else in the map, because it's going to be somewhere else.
Well, and that was kind of like the meta way to play King of the Hill. Yeah. Is like 4v4, you know, put two people in the hill, the other two people just go try to anticipate where the hill's going to move to. This is, in my opinion, a way better way of doing it. Each hill now has a control meter. They fill that meter while occupying the hill. Contesting a hill pauses that progress. When a team fills their control meter, they earn a point, and you know, it just kind of leads to more combative, more
strategic gameplay.
Yeah, 100%.
It's you don't need to rush. Like, for example, in the past, if a hill shows up, it's like you kind of always gotta go for it, right? Because you need those points.
Right.
You're on there, you're immediately getting points. Now it's like if you want to give a point up to try and reset, get the next hill, you can do that, right? Which is kind of exciting. I watch a fair bit of esports, of Halo esports, and it's like there's a lot of things they can do with that. If they know the exact order of the hill spawns, there's so much strategy involved in that.
I think, and that's a cool thing too. Like, just more things to watch when you're watching, like the big esports tournaments. A little extra variety when you're playing the game yourself. King of the Hill is going to be a super cool addition to this. And then, do you want to talk about land grab a little bit also?
Yeah. So land grab is a mode that's not going to be there at launch. Land grab's coming with their Fracture event. I think they said a month into the season.
Yeah.
Which means I gotta wait a month to look like Jinro, but hey, it's okay. You know, the armor looks amazing. If you haven't seen the video trailer, actually, it's probably playing. Take a look at it. The Fracture armor looks amazing.
Yeah.
But land grab's interesting because when I first heard it, right, I'm thinking like, wait, this is kind of just Stronghold or like a mix of Stronghold
like territories.
and Total Control. Yeah.
This mode is definitely the thing that screams Control from Destiny to me the most in an interesting way.
Yes.
But
that's what I was thinking.
Even still does it in a way that I think is more interesting than what Control does in Destiny, where there are 3 zones that spawn at the beginning of the match. Once a zone is captured, the team that captured it gets a point, and then that zone disappears. Yep. And then once all 3 of the spawned zones are captured, then 3 completely new, totally random zones spawn up again. It takes 11 points to win a match here. When a team is 1 point away from victory, 2 zones will spawn, giving the opposing team the opportunity to usurp the win for that team that has 1 point. If both teams are 1 point from winning, then only 1 final zone will spawn, which again leads to very interesting like strategic combat encounters.
It's like 343. They made their primary goal to just not have matches be boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And it shows in this, right? Like, the fact that they've designed this entire game mode around, for even the basic game, a matter of, like, the zones, they despawn and they despawn. They're gone, right? So if you're playing the game, it's not like Control or Strongholds where you can literally just stay in one base the whole game, right? And if no one comes at you, you just stay there the whole game. No, in this one, you're forced to move around, to really play, not just strategically, but play together, right? In fact, I have a feeling, again, in a way, this is another mode that teaches players to, hey, move together. There's 1 zone left. Go to that zone together, 100%. Right? Don't start splitting up again. And like, if these modes are going to be an arena, we need to keep this level of intensity. And of course, we'll need to wait until we play it. But from what we've read here, that looks like a primary goal. And I'm pretty excited.
No, I agree 100%, man. I think that these modes are going to be. I think that King of the Hill is probably going to become a fan favorite mode more so than it ever has. Now, Soul, not to pivot super hard here, but I think one of the most interesting things, and definitely the thing that I think I'm going to be spending the most amount of my playtime doing in season 2, is what I saw somebody on Twitter call it Baby Royale. I think that is a great name for it. We are of course talking about Last Spartan Standing. This is the new free-for-all experience, 12 players, BTB maps, with some interesting twists. So
very interesting twists, and like twists that still resonate with 343's pillars.
You spawn in with 5 lives. It is an elimination-based mode. There is a danger zone. I love, by the way, that they're calling it a danger zone. Hearing Steitzer say danger zone is hilarious to me. But once you've been eliminated, you can quit the match with no penalty.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think the coolest twist on this is definitely the upgradable
the leveling up.
Yeah,
the leveling up. I read that and I was like, this is super cool. So for reference, in general, so this game has a lot of gun game, or what 343 calls it. What was gun game?
Escalation Slayer.
Escalation Slayer, yeah. So it has those vibes.
I love that, unlike gun game or Escalation Slayer, it gives you the choice for when you want to level up, right? Like, it's so smart to give players the choice to be like, hey, like, are you ready for this yet? Rather than just like forcing it on them like it does in an Escalation Slayer.
Yep. And there is still some elements of random, to the point where that you have random equipment and power equipment that comes in through ordnance drops. what I really like about this game mode is, okay, one thing that I hate about BR in general, myself, I don't play BRs. I play 3-4 of them. I don't do well. You have more than one life, man.
It's very interesting.
You die once, it's not over, right? And in fact, there's even a catch-up mechanic. I mentioned earlier, if someone has their last life, you can get their life and get, like, I think 3 kills at once. It's considered 3 kills. So it's like, I'm reading it, and they've clearly looked at issues people might have had with the mode, and they're like, this isn't fun. How do we make it so that this doesn't happen? I'm super behind. The person in the lead has, like, a sniper and a rocket launcher. I'm screwed. What do I do? Yeah. Right? But there's still catch-up mechanics. Will they work perfectly? I'm not sure. I imagine 343 is going to need to watch this really carefully, balance it as they see fit.
Of course, it's going to have to be seen in execution, but so I think one of the most interesting things about this is what this says about the future for a real battle royale mode.
Yeah.
We know that Certain Affinity is working on something, right? Plenty of rumors going around. Certain Affinity is working on this battle royale. Maybe it has some PvE elements to it. Maybe it's a little bit more beginner friendly than, say, PUBG is or something like that.
Yeah. It's been a long development time too.
Yeah, plenty of time in development. I think the interesting thing here is that it seems like this is an experimentation for stuff that maybe Certain Affinity is wanting to implement in their mode. Some of these features, like the multiple lives instead of just one and done elimination. Is there anything in this that you would hope to see be brought over to a battle royale experience?
The main thing, which is the same thing that's been in every single one of the modes 343's shown in this blog, and which is something I actually don't think will be in CAs. I think that's going to be the difference between 343's game modes and CAs, which is that 343 prioritizes intensity and fairness in a way more than anything else. You know what I mean? They give you 5 lives. They give you a way to catch up. They give you the opportunity to kill the enemy opponent multiple times by keeping a weapon that you still really enjoy. You know, things like that. Like, at its core, this game mode is still designed around being as balanced as possible. And what I'd want CA to take from this is I want them to see the response to this, and if the response is positive regarding the attempt at balance, or regarding the attempt at keeping things on a relatively level playing ground, I want them to bring some element of that into their BR. I think the biggest test for this game mode is going to be just, not the biggest test, I should say, but the biggest showpiece of this game mode is going to be just showing to a lot of people just how fun Halo combat can be. Combat can be, I should say.
The interesting thing is, I think that you agree with me too. Halo Infinite has the strongest foundation I think any Halo game's ever had.
Oh yeah.
At the very least, that is my opinion on it. This has the potential to really execute well on Halo Infinite sandbox, on Halo Infinite's potential in a way that people already saw with the launch of the game. They're like, oh man, this game is so much fun. It's just so content light. I can't want to spend time in it.
Yep.
I think that this, and then the potential in the future for BR, Forge is coming soon. I think that this is going to blow the lid off of what Halo Infinite has. You said it before we started talking on camera, but I really do think that 343 is significantly downplaying Season 2.
I mean, we'll see how well people respond to it, but overall, when I'm reading it, it looks great.
So I couldn't agree more, man. I want to say thank you so much for jumping in here, talking with me about all of this amazing stuff. Like, again, I think Season 2 is being understated, and I think that that's going to work out in 343's favor. Is there anything that you'd like to mention while you're here? Where can people find you online?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Twitter, just at SoulBlazerz. I'm on XboxEra. I'm on the Halo podcast, of course. We're gonna actually have another book podcast out soon. But overall, I'm here.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this issue of DropPod. Of course, you can always find me wherever you like to stalk me at Pfhorbear, Pfhorbear. That is Pfhorbear. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, shared it with somebody who maybe isn't a Halo fan, maybe somebody that you want to get into Halo. Some cool stuff coming. Make sure you go and check out XboxEra on Patreon as well, patreon.com/thexboxera. Some amazing, cool content over there, and the best way to support us by far. Guys, thank you so very much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.